Hello everyone, Geralt and Yennefer from the Witcher Collab have made it onto the test server. So I'm going to start by looking at Geralt, the White Wolf Witcher. He is a dimensional hero. He's going to be an agility based hero as well. His class is a warrior, and his primary role is continuous damage. Okay, I'm going to start by looking at his skills. I'm going to start with his ultimate skill, potion buff. When adrenaline, which they're calling energy, is full, Geralt drinks a potion to buff himself, temporarily boosting his crit damage amplification by 25 points and dodge by 120 points. During this time, while his adrenaline is above 400, Geralt is immune to all control effects from enemies. When Geralt is under the effect of the potion, he loses 120 adrenaline points per second. When he doesn't have enough adrenaline left, he takes some white honey to remove the buff, healing 80% of his max health and dispelling most debuffs. When Geralt is under the effect of the potion, Geralt's crit damage amplification is temporarily increased by 35 points and dodge by 150 points. And level 3, when Geralt is under the effect of the potion, Geralt loses 100 energy points, or adrenaline points per second. Okay, so yeah, he's going to drink a potion to buff himself to give him more crit damage amplification and more dodge here, and then yeah, when he's under the effect of the potion, he'll lose 120 adrenaline points, and then when he doesn't have enough adrenaline left, he will then take white honey to heal himself. That sounds pretty good, just taking a potion to buff himself. And the second skill I want to look at is Whirl. Performs a fast spin to damage enemies within range multiple times. Each hit deals 200% attack rating damage. Geralt gains an additional 30 adrenaline points per enemy hit. When Yennefer is an ally, Geralt's adrenaline recovery rate is increased by 10%. So they're adding Yennefer, so they're connecting Yennefer and Geralt here like they've done with Queen and Joker, and they've done with Ainz and Albedo. They are connecting these two-dimensional heroes. And level 2 and level 3 is just increasing the damage. Level 4, Geralt additionally gains 40 adrenaline points per enemy hit. That's very cool. The third skill is Rend. Performs a forward-facing heavy slash to enemies within range, dealing 230% attack rating damage that ignores enemy defense. Damage scales with Geralt's adrenaline value and can be increased up to 30%. If Graveborn or Hypogean enemies are within the skill range, Geralt will attack with his Silver Sword, additionally reducing their energy by 400 points. While using the Silver Sword, Geralt is immune to all control effects. Damage scales with Geralt's adrenaline value can be increased by up to 50%, deals 250% attack rating damage that ignores enemy defense. And we have the first engraving skill here at the bottom. Successful hits with this skill increases Geralt's haste by 10 points for 25 seconds. The effect stacks up to 3 times. So you'll just perform a forward-facing heavy slash that'll deal a lot of damage to enemies. It ignores enemy defense, so that's very nice. It ignores the defense. And also the damage scales with Geralt's adrenaline. So the more adrenaline that Geralt has, the more damage he will do, which is very, very nice to see. It increased up to 30% here. And I like this aspect here. If Graveborn or Hypogean enemies are within the skill range, Geralt will attack with his Silver Sword, and those enemies will lose 400 energy points. I think that's very cool, specifically targeting the Graveborn or Hypogean heroes, and they will lose 400 energy points with when he attacks with Rend. Let's move on to the final skill, Battle Signs. Geralt uses different Witcher signs during battles. The first Witcher sign is Yrden. Geralt places a magical trap with Yrden at the start of the battle. It lasts for 35 seconds. Enemies within the trap have their dodge reduced by 200 and haste by 30. That's a lot of dodge and also a lot of haste to lose. That's a very good Witcher sign. We have Quen. When taking damage above 10% of his max health, Geralt quickly casts Quen to temporarily block all attacks, then gains a shield equal to 12% of his max health for 5 seconds. Cooldown is 8 seconds. And we also have Ard. Geralt casts Ard in front of him to knock down enemies within range, dealing 260% attack rating damage. Geralt casts Ard in front of him, knock down enemies within range, dealing 280% attack rating damage. Enemies in the trap set with Yrden have their dodge reduced by 250 and haste by 40. And the second engraving skill, each time Geralt casts a spell sign, he restores an additional 150 adrenaline points. So that engraving skill looks very cool, giving him 150 adrenaline points, and also buffing up the skill here. This skill looks very cool with the Witcher signs. All the Witcher signs look very good. Okay, let's move on to the signature item. See what the signature item has here. Wolf's Sword increases the attack range of Whirl and Rend. Every time Geralt uses Rend, he increases his normal attack and Whirl damage by 10% for 25 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. So making these attacks do even more damage. The normal attacks and the Whirl attack do even more damage. Every time Geralt uses Rend, he increases his normal attack and Whirl damage by 12%. Every time Geralt uses Rend, increases the normal attack and Whirl damage by 15%, and plus 30 for every enemy Whirl hits. Geralt's crit rating increases by 5 points for 25 seconds, which can be stacked up to 5 times. So this ultimate ability, it sounds pretty good. I don't think it's really the best signature item that I've seen, but it sounds okay. It sounds fine. And let's look at the furniture, see what Geralt's furniture has here. It's called Sign Steady. When successfully blocking damage with Quen, nearby enemies take 80% of the block damage. Damage cannot exceed 350% of Geralt's attack rating. And 9 of 9 enhances Ard with a piercing cold mutation, increasing the range while inflicting freeze on enemies for 3.5 seconds. So the 9 of 9 giving crowd control here. Freeze for 3.5 seconds sounds very cool. And also this 3 of 9 sounds really good as well. Dealing damage to the enemies, 80% of the blocked damage to enemies here. So that sounds very good. And we already looked at the engraving. Let's look at the Arena of Trials. Let's see what his skills actually look like in the Arena of Trials. Okay, the actual Arena of Trials has not started yet, which is very good, so I can go ahead and test him out here. Let's start with looking at him in the one dummy and see what his skills look like here. And let's decrease the speed here. And he already took out an enemy here. There's his forward slash. I believe that was the Rend ability. There he is taking his potion. And yeah, and there's his quick slashes there. Yeah, he looks very cool. Overall, he looks very good. Doing quite a bit of damage here to these enemies. Yeah, I want to see him do his ultimate again. Yeah, he loses his adrenaline points here. So yeah, he's not really able to do his ultimate ability, which is very, very disappointing to see. That was one thing I was kind of worried about, that he would be losing energy points faster than he can really gain, so he's not going to be able to do his ultimate ability. Yeah, and it's kind of slowly going down here. That's kind of sad to see. Only saw him do his ultimate ability really once. But yeah, let's look at the Arena Guardian, and let's choose a formation here. I think I'm going to keep him in the front line. They also have Yennefer. Let's put Yennefer in here, because they actually have Yennefer. We haven't looked at Yennefer yet, but yeah, they two go together. Let's do him. I guess let's do Namisu for the healing, and then I'll put Rosaline in there. Okay, this is just a random team I have set up. And let's turn on the ×2 speed here, so we don't really have to go. And there's this looks like a shield here. I believe that's probably caused by Yennefer. I haven't looked at her skills yet, so I don't know what her skills are. So I'm gonna assume that is caused by Yennefer. So anything that I've never really seen before, I'm gonna assume that it's from Yennefer. And that was a pretty cool ultimate ability from Yennefer there. Or I don't even know if it was an ultimate ability. Okay, yeah, that's her ultimate ability. Okay, so yeah, that went down pretty quickly there. Let's go ahead and see the damage output. Geralt doing a lot of damage. That's very nice to see from Geralt. And Yennefer doing the second most amount of damage there as well. That looks pretty cool. Both Geralt and Yennefer, first off, are doing a lot of damage, doing quite a bit of damage. Okay, let's look at Yennefer. I've looked at Geralt here. Let's look at Yennefer's skills. Yennefer, once again, is a dimensional hero. He or she is an intelligence-based hero, class is mage, and her primary role is buffer. Okay, let's start by looking at her skills, starting with her ultimate skill, Frontline Tactics. Yennefer dives into the most crowded area of enemies and slams into the ground, dealing 300% attack rating damage to enemies within radius, and imprisoning the hit enemies for 3 seconds before teleporting herself back to her original position. While the skill is active, Yennefer is invulnerable. And then we have the damage increased to 380% with level 3. So yeah, she will just go into the most crowded area of enemies, deal damage, imprison the hit enemies for 3 seconds, so having some crowd control there. Okay, the second skill, Lilac and Gooseberries. This is a passive ability. Yennefer enchants enemies with a given range around her for 2 seconds, during which they will start attacking each other with normal attacks. This effect can only be triggered once every 10 seconds. If Geralt is an ally, he inflicts 20% additional damage to the enchanted enemies. Level 3, enemy is enchanted for 4 seconds. So it's increasing it from 2 seconds to 4 seconds with level 3. The effect can be triggered once every 8 seconds instead of 10 seconds here. This ability sounds pretty similar to Mahira's ability, where Mahira's ultimate ability, where she can enchant enemies and make them attack themselves with their normal attacks. It makes me wonder if Yennefer and Geralt will work well with the Mahira Rose comp. I'm starting to see that. I don't know if you agree or disagree with me on that. You can go ahead and agree or disagree with me on that in the comments. But I'm seeing Mahira Rose with Yennefer and Geralt. Yeah, Yennefer can enchant the enemies, while Mahira can also enchant the enemies, making the enemies pretty much just stay enchanted for the entire battle. That's what I can see, at least. We'll have to go ahead and go ahead and test that, but that's what I'm seeing so far. And Sorcerer's Wrath is the next skill. Yennefer casts Frost and Thunder magic in turn. The Frost magic channels a line of ice shards and Ice Storm, dealing multiple hits to enemies in front, each hit causing 180% attack rating damage and knocking them back, while stunning them briefly. And Thunder magic summons thunder on enemies in front, dealing 220% attack rating damage and stunning them for 2 seconds. The Frost magic damage is increased to 200%, Thunder magic damage is increased to 240%. And the first engraving skill for Yennefer, Thunder magic damage increases by 20% with each additional enemy in range by up to 60%. So allowing the Thunder magic to do even more damage here. That sounds okay. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, just the Frost magic and Thunder magic here, and stunning the enemies for 2 seconds with the Thunder magic, doing even more crowd control is very nice. Let's look at the final skill, Magic Barrier. Creates a magical barrier at the start of battles, reducing 20% of the damage allied heroes on the allied side take from enemies on the enemy side of the battlefield. The barrier lasts for 24 seconds and disappears upon Yennefer's death. While using the skill, she is immune to control effects. Damage reduction of the barrier is increased to 25%, and for every 12 seconds the barrier lasts, deals 200% attack rating damage to all enemies within it and knocks them back to their side of the battlefield. And the second engraving skill, for every 6 seconds the barrier lasts, it deals 300% attack rating damage to all enemies within it and knocks them back to their side of the battlefield. Okay, that sounds pretty good. This is the magical barrier that I saw with Geralt's Arena of Trials that I was talking about. Lasts for 24 seconds and disappears upon Yennefer's death. So that sounds very good. Reducing 20% of the damaged allied heroes on the allied side take from the enemies on the enemy side of the battlefield. That's quite a bit of damage reduction, and it increases with the level 2 to 25%. Yeah, that sounds very good. Keeping the enemy or keeping the allies on the allied side of the battlefield will be very useful. And looked at Yennefer's necklace. This is the signature item, aligned defense. Increases energy recovery by 30% for allied heroes within the magic barrier when they suffer damage. So increasing their energy recovery when they suffer damage in the magical barrier. Increases energy recovery by 40% for allied heroes when in the magic barrier when they suffer damage. Plus 20, each allied hero in the magic barrier increases the damage reduction of the magic barrier by 5%. So keeping all 5 heroes in the magic barrier would be very cool for this one. And plus 30, magic barrier duration is suspended when no enemy is within. Oh, so if you have the plus 30 signature item and you don't have the enemies in the magic barrier, the magic barrier duration is suspended. Okay, this would actually work well with the Mahira Rose comp, because the enemies would, when I do the Mahira Rose comp, the enemies don't go over to the allied side, they go back over to the enemy side of the battlefield to attack each other. So if you have the Mahira Rose comp with Yennefer and Geralt, the enemies will just continue to be on the enemy side of the battlefield, and the magic barrier will be, the duration of it will be suspended. So I'm guessing that means that I'm guessing that would mean that if you have the enemies on the enemy side of the battlefield for the entire time, then this magic barrier will be up for the entire battle, which that would actually be very good, and it would give all the buffs that the magic barrier gives to the heroes. Okay, let's look at the exclusive furniture. We'll see what Yennefer's furniture has. Instant teleport. The 3/3, when Yennefer is in the backline of the allied side, it greatly increases the range of frost magic. And 9 of 9, when Yennefer receives melee damage from an enemy hero, she teleports herself and the enemy to their respective backlines and resets the Sorcerer's Wrath cooldown. This effect can only be triggered once every 12 seconds. Yennefer is immune to control while using this skill. Okay, these look very good. The Yennefer's in the backline increases the range of frost magic, so Yennefer in the backline will be very useful. Also this one looks very good as well, resetting Yennefer and resetting the enemy hero that deals melee damage to her. Okay, so that looks very good. And I've looked at the engraving. Let's look at the Arena of Trials for Yennefer. I'm assuming that Yennefer's Arena of Trials will have Geralt in it, just like Geralt's Arena of Trials had Yennefer in it. So this is the magic barrier. Increases the damage reduction of the magic barrier as more allied heroes are in it. So yeah, these allied heroes are barely taking any damage here. And Geralt doing a lot of damage, and then the magic barrier is gone. Yeah, these enemies coming from the allied side here is not really allowing the magic barrier to be suspended. Yeah, overall looks very cool. Yennefer looks very good. Let's look at the Arena of Guardian, and yep, there's Geralt. Geralt is right there, and I guess I'll put her in the side here. We also have Leonardo, so I'll go ahead and put Leonardo in there. And yeah, I want to use majority dimensional heroes for this one. And we also have the Awakened Aziz. Okay, let's go ahead and battle this one. And let's see what Yennefer can do in this one. And I'm gonna change the battle speed to ×2 as well. And there's the magic barrier. The majority of the heroes are in the backline, in the allied backline, which is very good. They're going to be taking less damage here. There we go, already down there. And I accidentally clicked out, so I wouldn't be able to see the damage. I'm assuming that Yennefer and Geralt did a lot of damage. Also, Leonardo does a lot of damage as well. Okay, so Yennefer and Geralt, they're looking very good. Like I said, I'm thinking I can see them working with the Mahira Rose comp, with the sort of enchanting that Yennefer and Mahira can do, basically timing out the enemy heroes and allowing them to stay in the enemy side of the battlefield, which will be very nice. Hey, if you made it this far into the video and haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe. And Yennefer and Geralt made it from patch notes 1.98, so if you want to see what else is coming with patch notes 1.98, check out this video over here, and thanks for watching.